going to show you here. Let's go into our untitled folder. Let's go into our tree PSD. Now, in here you see we have different types of trees, different types of ways to put things together. Now let's go ahead. I went ahead and selected our tree area and used the bottom of the tree trunk here and the top of this pine tree, I believe it is, to create this image here, which is our tree. Now I went ahead and put the tree into a separate layer, and basically from here I could scale it, make it, bunch it up a little bit, and from there we can post it into this image. Now you may be wondering how I have all these trees. Well, this took the most time in this image because this was not an easy task, but it was still very simple to do. All you gotta do is duplicate the layer a few times. I did about 9, created a group of trees by Control-E-ing all of them. And once I have the selected group of trees, I start from the top and work my way down. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of trees, so this takes a bit of time, but once you get the hang of it, it eventually gets easier as you go. You just have to kind of find an area where you like the trees, where it looks best. And don't be afraid to leave opened areas and blank spaces on certain parts, like here. I'm going to go ahead and select the marquee tool. Like a little area around here, a little area around here. Nothing too much, just enough to get by. Just to make it look more realistic, but still, we're going for fake here, not realism. So, let's go ahead and turn on our Temple of Faith, which is our building. Now this is made up of 1, 2, 3, 4 separate images. Technically 3, the floor is actually separate, but let's go ahead and select the column here. This column was from a tile set, where I showed you before in my tiles folder. I'm going to go ahead and open that. Now in my tiles, you have a bunch of different images in these tile sets. They're really good to use because if you have a tile set, you can pretty much easily grab anything from them, select it, edit it a little bit, and then throw it into the image. So let's go ahead and hit preview here so I can show you a little bit better. As you can see, we have tables, chairs, foods, barrels, fire pits, textures, trees. Anything you really need you can find in tile sets. I like them because they're easy to use, they're simple, and they're much, much better to use than a whole entire image and cutting that image out, because with tile sets, what they usually do is they have colored backgrounds, so it's easy to select them. But once again, it's easier to use white on certain images rather than pink. Thank you to the people who helped out here. Let's see who their name is. I'm gonna mess this name up. Sudoku 2, ripped by Davias. Thank you both. Appreciate your help. Actually, I think Sudoku is the game. Alright, back to our image. So, back to this. It's just basically made up of, the floor here is made up of a brown color. And what I went to filter gallery, texture, rise, texture, and selected brick, which gave me this nice little floor. Now, as you can see, we have a bunch of little images here and there, chests inside the temple to give it more of a building inside look, a couple of statues to add some nice areas around it so it's not too blank, and the rest of it is just path. And you'll see a chest off in the corner and a bridge so we know how to get across this river. Now it feels more like it's more realistic. Now you're wondering, that bridge, how does it have the shadow? Well, that's easy enough. The actual way to get that shadow is using a lot of just going down to the effects tab and choosing drop shadow. Now the drop shadow I like personally because it gives it more depth to the image and gives it more of a deeper look. Now by deeper I mean it kind of looks like more like a forest rather than just a couple of trees clumped together. If you look here, you'll see that this area is black. That's actually an inner shadow, and your drop shadow is over here. I'll go ahead and go into one of these images to show you. Now you can change the angle, the distance, the spread, the size, and the contour, depending on what you want for your images. Leave the opacity at 75% and the blend mode to multiple, because this will help make it just enough of an area. But you can mess around with the angle of it, make sure your use global light is off, because that'll mess you up. distance, spread, and size. Are you really where you want to stay towards, and use contour to find out what you like. I used one of the presets. Presets are a lot easier to use in creating your own, because once again that takes time, and if you want to do a quicker image, you want to stick to some basics. So we're gonna head and exit out of that. So yeah, that's what it takes to make an image, and this one took about 3 hours between projects and about 2 days total. The shadows were added later, as well as the chest and the buildings. So pretty much it takes some time to do certain things, but it's fun in the end. If you practice that, you get better, and if you save often and you save your things as PSDs, you can later go back into those PSDs and select the items you want, throwing them into another PSD, and creating this folder where you can always go back, select the type of item you want, and then put it into the image. So that's about it. So we're gonna go ahead and lower this. Alright, so keeping on to my promise, this is the website where I get most of my pixel images from to create my pixel art. Now, of course, you can find a lot of stuff here, but you can also find models, sounds, and textures for different things. This website's great for people who are wanting to recreate Flash games, possibly based on these things, or if you want to make like the most epic game of all time and just combine like every single video game character into one awesome battle ballistic. Pretty much creating the ultimate Super Smash Bros. Brawl, but from every single game genre you can imagine, except for possibly Halo, but actually there's a Halo thing on here. So yeah. Now going down the list, you can see that there's arcade, custom edits, DS, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Genesis, mobile phones, NES, other systems, PS, computer, PS2, SNES, and the list goes on. Now this is where I get 99% of my pixel images from to create the pixel art, but I also use that extra 1% to create my own images, as well as my also Google in anything. Now the name of the website is called the Sprite Resource. The actual web link you want to go to is www.spriteresource.com, and by doing that you are able to go into the actual by going there, you can actually go into the website and you can select from any one of these things. Now you can click on them, it'll automatically go into them. All you gotta do is hit right click, save image as, and save it. And once again, following the same steps as I did before, just select what you want and save it, and then drag and drop wherever you need to be. So that's about it. I hope you guys learned a little bit of how I make my pixel art. I hope you guys have a great appreciation for what I do. I know I do. And if this video actually gets enough likes and comments in the Facebook thread and on YouTube, I will make a second video and show you how to do profile pictures, which is really fun and a lot shorter than this video. Hope you guys learned a lot. Later.